The second hack he talked about is when you're reading a book, finish a chapter at a time. So in other words, sometimes we're reading, we only have a few minutes, and so we're reading maybe just a couple pages, or and so we stop in the middle of the chapter. And I've done this quite a bit. I've stopped in the middle of the chapter, and then when I came back, I was trying to figure out what happened, what I missed, or what, I can't remember what happened, or I get stuck, and so it's not as effective for me if I stop in the middle of the chapter. So he talks about reading the full chapter, reading a chapter, completing a chapter before stop reading, if you got to go something else you got to do. So finishing a chapter. And so I think this is really a good thing to try, is to try to finish a chapter at a time, or, not stopping in the middle of a chapter, so that you can stay focused on what you're reading. You can get the full gist of the chapter. If you're somebody who, practices active learning, you're actually, maybe you summarize the chapter. Maybe you test yourself on the chapter. You write, you think about what you thought about the chapter. Do you agree? Do you disagree? So I do like both of these hacks for reading. So the first one was reading and listening, like, on Audible or some type of book on audio. And then the second one, so reading and listening at the same time. And then the second one was finishing a chapter. So instead of stopping in the middle of the chapter, you always stop at the end of a chapter before you start a new chapter. That's where you kind of stop. So two reading hacks to kind of consider. Maybe it'll help you improve, your reading comprehension, what you're getting out of the book, remembering later on, what you read, the main points, in a year. Could you come back and say, okay, what are the main points of the book? So I think this is helpful for that.